In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the iCrimp copper ring crimping tool. One of the best things about this tool is how easy it is to change these jaws out. So you can see that on this, I've got the 3/8 inch jaws in there, but I need to put the 1/2 inch because that's the size pipe I'm working with. So the first thing I do is open the tool, and it has these little wings on it that you slide and turn up. You rotate them up, and they'll probably fall out. If they don't, you can turn it over, and you can see that if you push this screw up, then you can slide them out. So now I'm going to take a 1/2 inch, put them in just like they came out, push the screw down from the top side while I swing this hook down on the back side. Same thing on this one. Now I've got my jaws, I've got these wings down, and it's ready to go. Now I'm going to show you how to use it. The first thing you want to do is get your pipe. I've got 1/2 inch PEX pipe, and you want to make a clean cut to the length, whatever length you need. I'm just going to cut the end off using these cutters. Cut a section here, and then another section here because I'm going to put together a right angle, a 90-degree. The second step before you put your fitting on is to go ahead and slide the crimp rings onto your pipe. So they do fit on there loose. So if you don't like that, if you don't like them to be loose, you can pre-crimp them in the tool. Put them in the tool, put them in the jaws, close it, and just close it just a little bit to where it starts to compress. And so this one, I just squeezed it a little, and it's pretty tight to get on there, but it'll slide on there. And then that way I can position it where I want, and I don't have to worry about it sliding down the pipe. The positioning is about 1/8 of an inch away from the end of the pipe. You want these on first before you put your fitting. So I have a 90-degree fitting here. So I'm going to put that in. This one has these brackets that show you how far it goes in, and it's like a little stop measure for the crimp ring on it. All right. So put your 90-degree together, push the crimp rings up till they meet the little plastic part, and now we'll crimp them. Okay, I've got my pipe set up, my 90-degree fitting. I've got my crimp rings where I want them. So I take the tool, make sure that I've got the correct size jaws on it. So I've got 1/2 inch. This is 1/2 inch PEX. This is a 1/2 inch crimp ring. So what you do is you put the jaws around it and start to close, and you'll feel it clamp. You squeeze the handles together until they meet. Pull them apart. Do the same thing here. Both hands till the handles meet. So one nice tool that comes with this is the go, no-go gauge. This helps you ensure that you've got a proper crimp on the ring. So how it works is it's got the different sizes. So I'm going to use the 1/2 inch slot here to test mine. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a crimp ring that has not been crimped yet. So if I take the gauge, try to put it around that ring, it's not even coming close to going in, right? Whereas these two have already been crimped, right? So if I put this ring in, here you go. It stops halfway. That line is right in the middle of my pipe, and that's my go line. So I know that this fitting is good. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Stops at the same spot. That fitting's good as well. So if it didn't fit in there, it either means you didn't crimp it all the way, or for some reason it got crimped too much, if it slides all the way in, right? So in that case, I would remove this ring and try again. So now, if I needed to remove either one of these rings, I'll show you how to do that. First thing you'll have to do is cut your pipe behind your ring, maybe half an inch away. You don't want to cut, you want to cut far enough to where you're not cutting the 90-degree fitting that's on there. It has settings on it. This little gauge right here, it's got a plus, a minus, and a circle. Each one of these represent something different depending on your pipe size and the type of material that your fitting is made out of. This is your line right here that you're gonna line it up with. So I had it on the plus sign, which is what I needed for 1/2-inch plastic fittings, right? But if I had 1/2-inch brass fittings, I'd move it to the minus sign. And then if I had 3/4 inch or 1-inch plastic fittings, I'd move it to the circle. So now I can take the removal tool, flip it over. It's got this little lock on it. Push that up. Now the jaw's open. And so what I'm going to do is slide it in. So this has got a blade and then a non-bladed side. So the non-bladed side goes inside of the pipe, while the bladed side goes against the crimp ring. That's obviously so that it cuts the ring but doesn't damage the pipe. So you may have to do this a few different times. So I'm going to squeeze my handles. There, I heard that pop, so that's one cut. So now I'm going to go flip it around. I'm going to cut it at the bottom. And you can see that it started prying it open and it shot off. So that one was easy. If they don't come off, like I said, you may have to make 2 to 4 different cuts in there and then pry it apart with some pliers. And then once it's off, right, you can reuse this 90-degree fitting. So if your tool's not crimping properly after long-term use, it does come with this hex wrench, this for adjustments. So you can see that it has these dials on there that goes from it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on both sides, but it has a red dot to show you what setting it's actually on. So it comes from the factory set on 1, right? But after long-term use, you may have to adjust this. So I'm just going to do one side. I'm going to loosen this screw from behind here. Okay, I've loosened it enough to where when I push this nut, it pushes the dial up. And so once the dial's up, now I can turn it. So I'm going to turn it to where the 2, I'm just going to turn it 1 notch at a time to where now the 2 is next to the red dot. Once I have the 2 next to the red dot, I would hold it with my finger so it doesn't move, and then go behind and tighten this nut back up. However, my tool is new, so I'm going to reset it to 1. Hold it with my finger. Righty-tighty. The time you want to readjust this is when you have a crimp that fails, the no-go go test. You can see that I've got my 1/2-inch tester right to put on there. This one is still good. However, if it was crimped so much that the whole pipe slides in and touches this little arch right here, it means that I have too much pressure. So this is what the dial's for. So I'd go in just on one side at a time, and I'd change the dial on this side to 2. And after I changed the setting to 2, I would remove the ring that failed the test, and I'd redo it. So I'd have a new ring, crimp it again, test it again. If the ring won't even fit into the right slot, if it stopped right out here, then that means you haven't crimped it enough. So I would just crimp it again. If you found this video helpful, like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment with what you're working on next.